just mention that the city should be complimented for, again, winning the #1 tasting drinking water in the state of Kansas. They're entered in the national
Just a comment, as I'm out and around the community, and it isn't the City Commission's responsibility, but I have a grave concern about the appearance of our city and the lack of pride of property owners and the trash that's around and things piled up here and there, and I see it on vacant lots and so forth, and I don't know what can be. You guys can't do it, but somehow we have to inspire the community, because when companies come in to look at a community, those site selectors drive around a community and they look at it. At least they used to. I don't know whether they still do that or not, but you don't know they're here. They drive around incognito and they look at the community, and the recreational facilities have already been mentioned, but education, recreation, cultural, and the appearance are the things that companies look at and new residents look at. And I don't know what can be done about it, but some of it could be maybe enforcing more of our housing codes. I see some really terrible looking places around, and I don't know how much authority the city can exercise in that. But litter and those types of things, and I know your employees are just zapped clear up to here now as far as responsibilities, but I just wanted to express the concern that I have about the appearance of our city. Emporia is a great community, and I just wish people had more pride in keeping it up.
Well, and you're exactly right, Board, that that's been a concern of the commission as well, and you're right again about staffing. I mean, it takes a full-time person to oversee a lot of those issues, and we tried to put it in the budget. Was it this year? And or last year, and we pulled it back out, and
the money isn't there to do it.
Yeah, it's not there to do it. And it might be one of those things that if it's a big enough public concern that hey, for a while we added to the mill levy. I don't know the answer, but it's it's going to take what $65,000-$70,000 to find a person that's going to.
If we want to get a planner, which then allows the guy who's doing our planning stuff in the absence of a planner to go out and do the housing, that would be my preference.
That's really not feasible. How can we inspire people to do what they're supposed to do? I mean,
well, number one, what you can do is call and if you see new things that have developed recently, call and let the city know. Jeff Lynch or email Mark or Matt, and they'll get it to the right person, or contact the commissioners as well. But the staff would be the ones to point that type of issue to. But
that takes manpower, and you're zapped clear up to here now.
Yes, it does. And we could write letters, and sometimes letters do some good things. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes even citizens can put pressure on their own neighbors to just ask about that. We've done the neighborhood cleanup. What department was it? Human Relations Board kind of did that, and we had the public cleanup and tried to help, and then they actually had one last fall that did that well. Kind of a private individual took care of that. And
can we get more organizations involved in it to do the community cleanup? Look at how much stuff was gathered.
We're looking at maybe doing something in the fall. I think the problem has been that it was a group of volunteers. It wasn't just the Human Relations Commission. They certainly had a representative there, and they were very helpful. But we had help from the university was a huge partner in that. For example, the chamber was a huge partner in that. A number of volunteers. Phil Dillon was a huge player in that. Fred Newer was a huge player in that, for example. So it's more a group of citizens. I think the problem is, it was so much work to get so many volunteers. I think everyone got a little burned out, so we didn't do anything in 10. But we're still talking about trying to do something maybe in the fall of 11. We're not sure yet. But that's a big part of it. And I don't mean and I shouldn't underplay the role that city staff played. Our solid waste guys
I was
were
gonna say,
absolute
yeah.
champions when it came to the clean sweep. Man, those guys not only, busted hump, but they were there, they knew what they needed to do, they got it done, they were friendly, they were helpful.
Yeah, but again, it costs the city money. Can we get individuals to take on the responsibility somehow of hauling the stuff, and it wouldn't take as much city staff to, or city employees?
Like anything,
I
it takes
don't know.
money or volunteers, and it's hard to get both,
I
so.
don't know, it hasn't changed over the last 40 years, it seems like, yeah.
Do you think?
I was just gonna add on to what Matt was saying. The Clean Sweep Committee, which are all the different organizations and groups that Matt's talked about, is talking about with free landfill days this spring and also next fall to do exactly what you're talking about, Emporia, trying to get the community to step up and be more active and maybe get their neighborhoods joined together and do their own sort of mini clean sweeps without having the various locations across the community, but utilize the free landfill days of, like I said, gathering their communities, their neighborhoods together to do their mini clean sweeps in their area and getting it out to the landfill while it's open during free landfill days. So that's part of the discussion that's being done. And then with Building Futures, which led to Clean Sweep, was neighborhood associations and the importance of those, and that if neighborhood associations are formed, that really does create community pride, and we've seen that with the East Side Neighborhood Group and some others that have been done of what that does for neighborhoods and bringing them together and cleaning up. So I think exactly what you're talking about, or if others, if we could get people to start focusing on that and forming neighborhood associations, or taking a look at either the spring or the fall free landfill days of utilizing that and organizing their own clean sweeps in their neighbors where they live, I think would be great. But
I was pleased yesterday. I was at the, can't think of the name of the salvage place on south end of Graham Street.
Yeah.
And the short time I was there were 3 loads of things that came in, of refrigerators and junk iron and so forth. And I thought, yay, somebody's doing some cleanup someplace. And I was pleased at that. But they can get paid for the stuff that they have sitting around.
And we may just need to do a better job of communicating too, because in addition to needing to instill some pride in people, and we can do that by communicating, and it's like our water, #1 water in the state. That really is significant. A few years ago, we were #3 in the nation, and water is one of the most important things we have, if not the most important. We have to develop the pride in the community. We've gotten a little negative the last few years. I don't think that's insurmountable, but we do have things to be proud of, but we also have neighborhood revitalization that we need to probably promote and let people know about. Looks like we're going to have a really good asset on the historical district, on people being able to make improvements that will benefit them and the city too. I think we can do it, but I think we're really going to have to organize ourselves a little bit to campaign and make sure we get out and say, we do have a good city. We have some things wrong, we're working on it, but we've got this and this and this and this. That is absolutely great. And right behind you is one of the great things we have. We've got that Emporia Public Library. And the statistics that I got from you a few months ago were just magnificent on the use. It was so much greater than the larger cities in Kansas. So we have a lot going for us here. We're just going to have to learn to get back to emphasizing that and taking pride in what it is we do. And we can pass that along. We can choose to pass it along by mentioning these things that are happening, or we can turn to our friend in the next seat and say, did you see what they did? Isn't that dreadful? Okay, it's a one at a time thing perhaps, but we can do it if we put our minds to it.
Emporia is a great community.
It absolutely is.
Everybody would take more pride in it.
The trash issue is not, obviously not a problem that's isolated to